Hello and welcome to Series 1, Episode 11 of the Think Rugby podcast. I am Andy Moe and I'm joined with my partner in crime, Zav.
Hello.
We're so raw and uncut that this intro will not be edited out the final make because we do not give a fuck. How are you, Zav?
You know what? I'm alright. 2 secs. No, I'm feeling pretty good. Lots of rugby this weekend for myself, and of course the start. Would you class it as round one, or was it like just like a kind of spin-off weekend of rugby for the Autumn Nation series?
Well, technically a spin-off I would always consider to be at the end of a natural series, not at the beginning. So for me, yeah, I would have counted it as round one.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's round one then. So round one in the Autumn Nation series, while England played the All Blacks, who had Scotland play Fiji, Fiji and Drew, I should we say, but we'll get into that later on in the episode. Before we begin, drop us a like, a subscribe on YouTube, give us a follow on TikTok, and like all the videos. Our latest video on the Think Rugby podcast page got 15k views and over 1,000 likes, so please go over there, like it, repost it, share it about. It's relevant to this podcast today. That's all I'm going to say about that before I ruin it. And also on X, Twitter. Need to get those subscribers up on my platform and also on Andy Moe's platform as well. At Think Rugby, at Andy Moe, I think it is. Nevertheless, we'll crack on with it. We'll go to the Guess Who. So far I am winning 24 points to 21. We've made the agreement that we'll be going to 50 points and then a winner will be decided from there, and we'll maybe change up the game. But for the time being, it's still about halfway through the Guess Who. Okay, I'll let you do the clues first this week, Andy.
Sure. So, clue number 1. I was born on the 15th of January 1999 in South Africa.
15th of Jan, 1999.
Yeah, 25 years old, same age as me.
Sasha Ngonza Zulu.
Incorrect. Clue number 2, I play at hooker.
Oh.
Ooh. So it's not Sasha Ngolo Zulu.
Dylan Richardson.
Correct. I am annoyed. I thought that was going to be a difficult one.
No, I thought you were trying to sway me a little bit there, but no. Good first clue. Dylan Richardson, of course. Dylan Richardson played at the weekend. Had a very good game. I won't say too much because again we just discussed that. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with Dylan Richardson. To be fair, shame he's South African. Played for the South Sea Sharks. Apologies, I don't know why I made the howler last week. I said South Sharks. That was really silly of me. Had a lot going on in my head. So yeah, Dylan Richardson. There we go. 4 points for me. I'm going to be pulling away, so I'm going to write a nice little note next to my name. Where is it? And I'm going to put 28 points. That was 4. Okay. My turn.
Yeah, go for it.
Clue number 1. I'll drink some Iron Brew first.
I'm not editing that out. I can't be arsed.
Number 1. I'm a former player and I played between 1997 and 2001 for my national team.
Okay. Matt Dawson.
Oh my, no, it wasn't. Clue number 2. I am a back-to-back Rugby World Cup champion.
'97 to 2001. Because with that time, 97 to 2001, that's only one World Cup.
Between that time, correct, yeah.
So how can you be a back-to-back Rugby World Cup winner?
Figure it out.
Oh, John Olomu.
Incorrect. Number 3. In my playing career, I was a back rower, having made 36 international caps and scoring 7 tries.
I honestly have no idea.
I think you will. Think outside the box here. I gave you 2 clues there.
Back rower.
Just try to think outside the box.
I'm just going to say pass on that one. I don't know.
No worries. Number 4. After playing, I took a stab at coaching, managing to win the 2019 World Coach of the Year.
Steve Hansen.
Incorrect. Just remember, think outside the box. Number 5. I'm South African.
Fucking Rassie Erasmus.
It's Rassie Erasmus. I told you, think outside the box. The Springboks.
Yeah, very good,
One pretty point. I thought you maybe would have got on it with at the start when you said that's only one Rugby World Cup cycle, which is a fair point. And I was like, yeah, try to figure it out. I could see your mind going though, but unlucky Andy. Pardon me, it's 4-1. 22 points. I see when you first said you're South African, I thought there's no way we are going down the same route here. But two South Africans this week. Speaking of South Africa, they play Scotland this week, this Sunday at Murrayfield. I mean, we'll see how that goes when the time comes. But I'm also discuss our predictions later on in the episode, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, Scotland leading into that game. We just had Fiji. A win's a win. I'm going to say, I won't lie, 57 points to 17 was the full-time score.
I think so, yeah.
I'd like to say it was, yeah. Half-time was 29 points to 10. It's a win, but there was a few mitigating circumstances which makes you kind of feel a bit flat and maybe not too enthusiastic, being like not just being a casual, being like an actual enthusiast. And the casuals would be like, oh yeah, great, we won by a lot, but digging deeper, there might be a few underlying answers to be told. But I mean, I'll let you go first, Andy, and give me your take on the game.
Well, my take on it was immediately I put it out onto Twitter or X before the game. Darcy Graham getting his chance on the wing, and I was like, well, he's definitely not got it on merit with recent form. However, he will probably go and make the most of this opportunity. Lo and behold, he goes and scores 4 tries and momentarily equals Duan van der Merwe's record as the most amount of tries scored for Scotland, until Van der Merwe goes and gets his own try and makes it 29 to Van der Merwe and 28 to Graham.
Can I just like button there? I actually think that makes it a really, really exciting element now, that the fact we've got 2 active current players in their primes that are hunting down or battling against each other for the top try scorer. I hope they're professional enough to put that aside and do what's best for the team instead of just go for glory. But yeah, it's
Sorry, Zav, have you seen how Van der Merwe plays?
well, he doesn't always get 4 tries a game. He gets 3 tries a game if he plays against England, but he doesn't quite get 4 tries a game. But no, you're right. Van der Merwe is a very route one. But the thing is about Darcy Graham is he will pick the ball up 5-10 metres out and get a sniping lot of run. But so yeah, it's really exciting to have that kind of friendly competition in the Scotland camp. Obviously, they both beat Stuart Hoggs remarkable 27 tries and almost 100 tests. I'm not gonna lie, it's not like groundbreaking, is it? But for Doohan and Darcy, for doing it in the games that they've had, pretty decent, and it's really good, a good position to be in just now. Yeah, I'll let you continue if you've got anything to continue. What about selection? I mean, I know you had a few people in there that you were a bit on that were not your flavour. Mine as well, to be fair. But go ahead.
No, well, I thought that front row could have been juggled about a bit differently ahead of the Springboks this next weekend, but he went with pretty much the full strength that he had to pick from. But I mean, yeah, Ewan Ashman was lucky to stay on, and to me, it showed. This isn't me jumping at the bit to get on and attack him, but yeah, that just shows a real lack of maturity in his game.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, at the point in the game where he should have probably got sent off with that like second yellow card, or could be a red card from like the high shoulder to the head, I was low key kind of rooting for Fiji by this point, and I kind of thought if Ashman gets suspended here or gets sent off, he'll be banned for 2-3 games. That means that Townsend will be forced into calling up a hooker. They're probably looking for a hooker that can score tries, and I think we know a certain hooker that is quite prolific and quite fond and used to touching the ball down on the whitewash. So I was kind of thinking for a moment Johnny Matthews might actually get his chance here in some weird roundabout kind of way, but wasn't to be, and he's obviously still not in the squad unless there's got to be part of the injury or that. Johnny Matthews will still be kept out. But yeah, Ashman, I wasn't too impressed with him. He did have to go off eventually, and on came Richardson, who had your guess who was Richardson. He had a phenomenal game, I feel, coming off the bench. Didn't score, but you don't have to score to have a good game. He just general workhorse, really fit, athletic. Once again, 25 years old, good age to be getting into being that competition, that hooker, which is not our strongest point at this current moment in time, based off the selection that Townsend has chosen and done. So no, it was good. I think Price. I think the Price experiment's a waste of time. He's 31 now. He's been there. He's played his good rugby. He's just nothing like he was before. Jamie Dobie came on and absolutely just showed him up and showed him how to play at the international level. I mean, yeah, it was kind of chalk and cheese for me. I just think Price was just not at the races at all, to be honest.
No, well, as you alluded to in last week's episode, you think that Townsend can sometimes just not know what his best 15 is. And yes, this is almost a free hit against Fiji, but Price should have been nowhere near that team, not at all. And
No.
for Townsend to come out before the game and to say that, oh yes, Ali Price is very much there in form, and you're like, have you seen how Edinburgh have been playing this season and Ali Price? No,
Yeah.
mate.
It's a load of waffle, but I mean we're used to that by now. Here's an interesting one before we go back into Scotland. I felt that it was quite poor the fact that Scotland or Fiji managed to score 3 tries in the space of 15 minutes. They scored in the 34th minute. They scored again just before half time, and then they also scored in like the 45th minute. So no, it was maybe 48th minute, should I say? So all within 15 minutes less.
48th minute being the second half.
48th and yeah, in the second half. So it was 8 minutes in. So it was give or take 15 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's fair enough, Sav. But you're taking out the element of how different the crowd atmosphere would have been, and the halftime team talk. If it was all within the same half, then yes, I would tend to agree with you.
But surely, if you concede 2 tries and you've got that chance, that 50 minutes to be, you surely don't go back out and concede a very soft try out of line out. We have 50 minutes to like reevaluate and think, okay, what's actually happened here? 2 soft tries, soft sloppy tries. I mean, they were absolutely fine when they were a man up when Fiji had 2 guys in the bin on separate occasions. Absolutely fine and sober in there. Just because they had for the last 20 when they started to slow down a bit because Fiji actually had 15 guys on the pitch doesn't mean they can go concede 2 tries. And then even more the reason to not concede by going at half time and having that time to have composure and maybe make some changes that they probably should have made, which I mean Townsend never, because quite threatening like that. He'll stick to his guns. And the annoying thing about this is, it wasn't even Fiji. It was a Fiji B team. I mean, I've made a list here of a whole 15 team that doesn't play for the Drua, who was ineligible for this game, who would probably pound for pound take a place in that Fiji team. I've got Maui, who plays for Saracens, Sam Mitavesi plays for Leon, Luke Taji plays for Bayonne. I'm not even going to pronounce this guy's name, plays for Northampton. It's absolutely mental. Maya Kanevavanu. You've got Albert Tuisui for Gloucester. You've got Tagita Givalu, who played for Pau. He was really good in World Cup. You've got Botia for La Rochelle. Bill Mata, who plays for Bristol Bears, albeit he is injured. The only thing would be is Fiji's nines, Kuravoli and Lomani, both play for the Drua. And so does their third choice nine, what's his name? Matalawu, also plays for the Drua, which is a bit insane. And you've got Ben Vola, a bit of a cheap one because he's not played for a while, at 10 for Leicester Tigers. Then on the wings, you've got Revolver for the Bears and Van Vandra. Two quality wingers there. In the centres, Joshua Tuasova and Nai Kalevu. I mean, Nai Kalevu's not had the best kind of start to his sale career, but Joshua Tuasova at 12, monster. And you've also got Habosi, who plays for Racing as well. That's all quality teams and people on big wages for the top teams in their respective leagues weren't available. And Scotland still managed to leak in 3 tries. It's not the basis of a championship winning kind of international side when that's going to be happening, especially when you're going into the game against South Africa. If you concede 3 tries against South Africa, the whole match, let alone 50 minutes, your chances are very slim of getting any great success.
Well, that's a fair point with the players you've just mentioned, but I would argue that with the exception of Price and Ashman and a few other wee things here or there, I don't think Scotland could have performed as well as what they could have done for a 1 week build-up with a thrown together squad. Albeit, yes, Fiji have done exactly the same, but there was such a level of capability from Scotland, I felt. I mean, Hastings' kick-in was exceptional. That cheeky offload he had, the quick thinking from him to ping it out into the wing to Graham for one of his tries. All in all, the vibes were there. Scotland were by far in front. And yeah, they're going to have to knuckle down and really work hard this week for the Springboks. But for me, as a warm-up kind of game for that big test match next weekend, you couldn't ask for anything better.
I would actually have given Hastings man the match, being perfectly honest and true. You couldn't, because Darcy scored the 4 tries, and that's just the way broadcasters work, because it's all about PR and that. But I'm just being honest. But Darcy, yeah, he did play very well. Phenomenal support lines to catch the offloads and score the tries and beat defenders. Look, that rubber kick or whatever actually happened. A little bit of luck, but a little bit of genius as well. It was a matter of seconds to get the ball in his hands and to try kick it and then shake off the defender and regather. Look, he's a world-class player. But at the same time, none of that would have been possible, and half of those tries were all conducted by Adam Hastings. And actually, I wouldn't be too worried, and this might be a bold thing to say, off that performance, I wouldn't be too worried having Hastings in the squad at least, but also even starting, say, if disaster struck and Russell was unwell or got injured. You wouldn't be like, oh no, we've got absolutely nobody. You'd be like, oh, Hastings is on form. He's playing well for Glasgow. When he plays, he's also played that well for Scotland that game, really well for Scotland that game. So I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world having Hastings in around that kind of squad. I don't think he will be, because I think that Tooney will go with Tom Jordan on the bench to cover 10 and 12 on Saturday. But if that's not the case, then I do hope it's Hastings in there to cover 10 and maybe fullback. But moving forward from this game and potentially, we've got South Africa, then we've got Portugal, then we've got Australia as well. How do you think the next few weeks are going to go? Maybe not just we've got to win this one, we're going to lose this one, but just the progression. Who do you want to see in the squad getting their chance and opportunities, because of course we had likes of Tom Jordan getting his first test. You've got Masese Tuipulotu in the wider squad. He might get his run out at some point. You've got Jamie Dobie. I know he's played squad before, but this is like a higher competition he's up against, which I think he played very well. Like I said before, I think he pocketed Price, and I would have no obligations to have Dobie on the bench next week as well, based off that performance. Albeit it was against a Fiji B team, he had that kind of electricity and fire that you need as a scrum half, especially to beat like a blitz defence. Just get in and out really quick, and obviously South Africa will bring that fire and that blitz defence. So are there any kind of players in that you would like to see? Because I'd like to see Tom Jordan, but I'd also like to see Hastings still in there. You're only going to get one of the two of them, but anyone else, then fire away.
Well, I immediately think the front five. I think Schoeman has been very consistent for Scotland, but like said, Jamie Batty, Rothe Sutherland, I'd be interested to see how they would get on getting a chance. Likewise with Hooker, we've just said Ewan Ashman, he might be the guy in possession of the jersey, but it is not owned by him, not by a long way, not like how Turner and McAnally had owned it. Same with Tighthead, Fagerson, yeah, he has proved he can do a full 80 minutes, but to do that week in, week out, it's a lot of pressure for one guy.
Against the box as well, it's going to be a lot more pressure against the box. One of the best scrummers in the world, if not the best scrum in the world, is I don't think he'll last the full. If I think Mills will come on, yeah, maybe around the 60-minute mark there. Being honest, the whole fronts, the whole forwards of Scotland, on Saturday, that was probably Scotland's best pack you could get. I know what you might say, Mish, but generally, that could be the best pack that you can get. Maybe minus having Jamie Ritchie in there potentially, but yeah. So I think it's going to be thereabouts the same, around the same kind of maybe the whole squad's could be based around the same sort of players or personnel. Maybe minus Ben White, minus Russell coming in at 10, then Kinghorn into 15. But I really don't think it'll be too unchanged. Just to maybe get a bit of continuity going. And the players that did play, like Hastings, Kyle Rowe. Well, Kyle Rowe's now injured, but Hastings, he might funnel onto the bench. And same with some of these players that came on. So Gregor Brown, he might be a surprise package in there. I think he played a bit when he came on. He might get a sniff at the start of a game. You just don't know. But yeah, I think Richardson, I think he'd be pretty hard done by if he doesn't get a start. But like I say, I do think they'll go for that kind of consistency within the same kind of squad that's been playing with each other last week going into this week.
Oh, that's maybe a fair comment. But at the same time, as much as I don't rate him, I think I'll be very surprised if Townsend doesn't back Ashman to go out and start again. I don't think I don't think there'll be any changes in the forwards. Fagerson might come off and they might put on Ritchie, because of course Ritchie's very good for the Jacqueline and turnovers. But besides from that, I don't expect any changes in the forwards. In terms of the backs, I'd be really fucking disappointed if Ali Price is still playing. He'll probably go with Ben White because George Horn is his best scrum half, so Townsend will automatically not want to pick him and do that. Likewise, with Kyle Rowe at 15, Kinghorn will come in, and the midfield and the wingers will stay the same.
Yeah, I think we kind of generally agree on that, and most people will. What I will say is, though, before we move on, a lot of people have been backing Richardson to get that 2 jersey, but I just, nobody can really see it. I just think it will be Ashman, but enough said there. Yeah, I think that'll be it. I think moving into the Australia, kind of go with the Portugal and Australia game, you will start to see a bit of a, maybe not a drop off in the star players, but you probably won't see Russell playing against Portugal. Probably won't be seeing Duhan playing against Portugal. I'd be very shocked if you do. So yeah, I'm going to the Portugal game actually, so I'm really excited to see what kind of team they do put out. I wouldn't mind the development team, but at the same time, you do want to see some of those superstars playing because you paid money to go and see them, albeit it is less money compared to the box game and even the Fiji game. they were more expensive tickets because you are seeing more premium players and premium kind of showing on the pitch. So yeah, I think we'll probably see like the Mosesi Tuipulotu for Portugal, not the box, no way the box, and maybe a bit of Australia. But I think they really should maybe try experiment a little bit, come to Australia game and have like said Mosesi Tuipulotu starting, have the likes of Tom Jordan maybe starting. Otherwise, what's the point of having them in the squad and playing them against Portugal if you're not going to then test them with I guess a tier 1 nation, but not the higher class tier 1 nations, if you know what I mean? Because I mean, Australia for the past while hasn't been tier 1 nation quality at certain times. So I think that would be a perfect opportunity once again to have like Hastings at 10, to have Tom Jordan maybe starting 12, or even sort of probably not starting. I'd probably start 10, but maybe have him at 12, or coming off the bench again, and then we'll set it to Piloto starting the centres, coming off hopefully a Portugal dominant display. So that's the way I think it's going to go, or the way I would have it. But I mean, Townsend, he loves to surprise you, doesn't he? And he's proven that with the selection that he made with some certain players. So yeah, before we move on to the All Blacks game, anything else to add?
We're not playing the All Blacks.
No, I mean before we discuss the All Blacks game.
My bad for being clever. No, the only thing I would say is there's been a lot of talk of certain players moving from the two Scottish teams out to France and England. And I do not disagree with what you're saying about squad rotation, but they'll be chomping at the bit to get a game so that they can show off how good they are and get proposed move. I mean, Tuipulotu's comments, Sione's, didn't fill me with much confidence at the weekend. But yeah.
Which was?
Yeah, he doesn't see himself being anywhere but Glasgow for the next 6 months.
6 months?
So to the end of the season.
To be fair, you could probably see him get a massive whack of cash from somewhere like La Rochelle or somewhere like that. Hopefully not Japan, because that would completely ruin his Scotland chances. But I don't think. There'll be a clause in his contract to say that he's got to be in Scotland for a certain period of time if he's to be captain, and that I'm pretty sure. But we'll worry about that when the time comes. I'm sure it'll make great content when some news does come out about Tuipulotu's future. Okay, pardon me, England vs All Blacks. For me, was a game for the, not for the purists and not for the ages, but it was a good game to watch. Trying to be as neutral as possible. Of course, I want the All Blacks to win, because I mean, I'm Scottish, I want England to win, even though I live in England just now. But yeah, I couldn't muster up the courage to watch the England game down at the clubhouse, my rugby clubhouse, because just in the chance they lost, thankfully they never, and I wish I was there, because I mean that would be absolutely gutting to watch your team lose in the finest of margin so late on. So I'll just kind of brief you down in the game. I know you were quite busy the weekend. You managed to get a Scotland game, but I did kind of say I'll take on the responsibility for this All Blacks vs England game. So started off relatively okay. A couple of kicks from Marcus Smith, who had a very, very good game, by the way. I think he had a man of the match performance. If it wasn't for a certain player, young player in the All Black squad, we'll get onto very soon. So had Marcus Smith knocking a couple over early on, keeping the scoreboard ticking over. Then you had Mark Talea. I mean, the man, he doesn't look very big, but I mean, he is an international rugby player. But the power and speed on that man is unreal. He's like an electric eel. It's like he just slides off everything. Can't catch him. Scored a worldie of a try with a worldie of an offload from the 21-year-old Wallace Setiti, who had literally played like he's been playing international rugby for like the past 5-6 years. He was that good. He got man in the match, deservingly so. If it wasn't him, it probably would be Marcus Smith. Will Jordan got a try. I mean, it was
and to mention him.
Yeah, it was pretty poor defended, but I mean, when you've got absolute world class quality coming in at his natural position of fullback, you only need an inch and you'll take a mile, and he did. Whether it was Genge's fault or it was George Martin's fault to break down, George Martin didn't come across. But it was a very, very good move there, and it looked like it was pre-planned. catching the England team off guard, Borthwick coming round quite late to the blind side, and then switching it with Will Jordan. Very nice to see, and yeah, it really killed England's momentum, because they did start to have, and for most parts of the game, they did have that momentum. The All Blacks just seemed to have all the answers. All Blacks did get a bit of momentum, but Marcus Smith, my English man of the match, intercepted it, ran half the pitch, little tip to Furbank, who straight away tipped to, the man in form just now, Feo Bosso.
What a player.
Incredible. And when it was a bit of a walk-in-ish with this Saturday for him, but you back him to score length of field tries himself. He's very similar to Mark Talea in the way he's built and the way he plays, really slippy and very explosive. One of England's better players, and generally could be a generational talent, one of the best English players of all time. I don't know how Warren Gatland missed him, or the Welsh scouts missed him, because he qualified for Wales as well, and they just let him completely slip through the radar, which was idiotic of them, because they could do with a superstar. But having said that, he would have probably, if he did choose Wales, he'd probably be off to the NFL examen. So maybe it's a good thing that he is English and he's sticking to Union instead. So yeah, that can equal the game up. England did end up taking the lead, just got the one try, but a lot of the penalties, like New Zealand conceded about 10 penalties in the first half, absolutely killed them, and then conceded a few more, which I was going to say Farrell. Smith just knocked over. Did very well, didn't miss many at all, but he did miss was a couple drop goals, which would have came very important as the game went on. Which, if he missed them, England lost by 2 points. You had Talea scoring a clutch try near the very end. I think I'm missing somebody's try. It's really annoying me, but I'm not at all. Talea with 2, Jordan with 1. Talea scored a clutch try at the very end, and D-Mark with an even clutcher, if that's even a word, conversion from the sideline from about 50 metres out. No joke. He took it so far back, and he absolutely drilled it and nailed it. And even Austin Healey said before they went over, he went, "That's in." And there's nothing more satisfying than seeing or hearing Austin Healey's enthusiasm just drop, because as a commentator, he just does my fucking head in. He was a former player for England. If anyone watching didn't know that, and ever since he became a commentator, he's just done my head in. Great player, but just commentator, no. But yeah, so that was a full-time score. Not before Smith coming off and Ford missing a penalty kick, which was a pretty tricky kick to be fair, and also missing a drop goal, which I don't think is completely his fault, but because of Harry Bandel's not atrocious pass, but not on the ball, on the money pass, he probably shouldn't have taken a drop kick. He probably should have maybe dinked about a couple, maybe got the ball away and just built up the phase play again to set again, or maybe try to force the penalty. But never, and that's rugby sometimes. Full-time score was 24 points to 22 in New Zealand's favour, and that's now, I guess, the trilogy would be 3-0 to the All Blacks. All 3 very close games, all 3 in the All Blacks' favour. You get nothing for finishing second, do you? So, tough luck to England. Quick one on that. Do you think that, because England bang on about them being a learning, developing team still, but at what point do they become just a team instead of a team that's still learning? Because it's been a while.
I call bullshit on that immediately. Borthwick had his honeymoon period up into the World Cup last year. Mm-hmm. You alluded to it earlier about not being a great game for the purists or the casual. That right there was 2 head coaches under serious amounts of pressure from their unions to go out there and deliver, and that's why we had that game of chess. Okay, I think New Zealand did probably play the better rugby, and the way in which the game went represents that, but England kept in it with the penalties, despite New Zealand getting 3 tries to 1 in the game.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's been a lot of staff changes with Borthwick.
It doesn't fill you with much hope as if you were an England supporter, an England fan, or an English person.
The thing I would use to describe them is they were plucky losers. They were unlucky to lose. I mean, they had their own. They should have won if they took their chances, but they weren't able to do it at home against a struggling All Blacks team that I wouldn't say are anything special. It's not great reading for them.
No, they're not. They're not. All Blacks aren't special. That's another question I had. Are the All Blacks still a threat? I know it's still at the very top level, but I guess we can answer this all in one in a nutshell. They're not what they used to be, but they're still very dangerous. And on their day, they still are one like could beat anyone. England didn't play bad. They just didn't play. I mean, they played the percentage rugby to a certain degree. When the points were there, they took the points because they knew it was going to be tough. But they had in attack, it was a intercept, counter attack, breakaway try. They didn't really pose much of a threat whatsoever. And yeah, the only thing I could say really about England positives or any positives about England in particular that's had over the All Blacks was some of the players like say Cunningham South had absolute stormers a game, and honestly, like I've never seen such a dominant in defence performance from an English or like a British kind of player for quite some time. Really, really impressive with Chandler Cunningham South, 21, 22 years of age. He's a young guy and he did very, very well. But then you can say that about Walsatiti for New Zealand. Defensively sound, attackically even better. Probably the next best thing at 7. Yeah, was he at 6? No, sorry, he was at 6, my bad. But yeah, I couldn't choose between the two actually because they were both so good and match each other in different ways. But it makes a good reading and it makes it very interesting for England going in against Australia. They'll assuming they'll beat Australia, and then the All Blacks face Ireland. I mean, that's going to be a tough. That is going to be a next step. Albeit England did beat Ireland the last time they played in the Six Nations, it's still going to be a big step going to the Aviva and putting in a show like that.
No, definitely. And the thing for New Zealand, it might suit New Zealand playing Ireland because the style of play is less, kick and chase like what England do. It is a completely different style of rugby, but I don't know. I do fear for Razor. I don't know how this tour is going to go down, but it's going to be an interesting game nonetheless.
That's for sure. I don't think they'll get rid of Fraser. I think
he is undoubtedly under a bit of pressure with how poorly the All Blacks performed in the 100%. Rugby Championship.
Yeah, but I think just because expectation is so high, I mean, there's no room for error in that kind of environment. But yeah, they want to keep it that way. I just don't think they can really take anyone in at the moment. There's nobody out there like that is next, like who actually is that is going to take that job that is better than Razor currently. I think you'll struggle to find some.
Yeah, well,
because they will try to keep it in house. They will try to keep it to a Kiwi. Let's be honest. They generally do kind of go about that way. They've had Graham Henry. They've had Steve Hansen and they've had Ian Foster. Now having Razor Robertson. So they do try to keep it in house, which is good. It keeps it. Keeps it the way like it traditionally would have been, but I don't object to any like overseas coaches going and coach. Like I mean, look at even Farbo going to Ireland. I mean, he's brought them on leaps and bounds, and he's English. But it's just. I mean, money talks, and I'm sure I couldn't see Farbo going across to New Zealand just to suit their style of play. But I think maybe if the money was right and there was a coach out there, then they would be maybe swayed and tempted. But I just don't think there was a coach out there just now.
Well, you never know. I mean, the thing about Farrell, I would say, is more he was never given a chance at England, and I think that's why he's been such a success at Ireland. Has been that rejection, and he's been on this like path of redemption and achieved a lot of great things with Ireland.
Yeah, they just kind of let him cook because he kind of, I guess, proved them wrong that he maybe was good enough to go a bit further in the England setup. But yeah, you're not wrong there. But okay, then moving on to the upcoming fixtures this weekend. So we've got I guess round 2 we're going to call it of the alternation series. We've got 6 fixtures. We've got 1 on the Friday night. We've got 3 on the Saturday, and we've got 2 on the Sunday. So this is a jam-packed weekend of rugby. So buckle your seatbelts. I've got my subscription to TNT Sports. I'll be watching all of them within reason before my missus tells me to put the TV off. So the first game we've got Ireland vs All Blacks on the Friday night. Now we just basically 2 minutes ago we discussed this about how the All Blacks need to up their game because Ireland, at the end of the day, it won the second or third best side in the world.
I think they're ranked number 1, are they not?
Yeah, no, but I don't go by that. I go by my opinions. I would put Box number 1. Still, they are the reigning champions after all. They are ranked number 1, but and by a fair bit as well, actually, by a good 1 point something points or however they seeded. But I think this game, it's in Ireland. The All Blacks aren't quite cooking yet. I mean, they were impressive, but there's definitely room. I mean, 10 penalties, that's criminal. Some teams will punish you even more for that, being brutally honest. That was 10 penalties in one half, basically. So they will have to look at that, and Ireland will see that as like a positive, make them force the error at the breakdown, or so example would be the breakdown, make New Zealand go off their feet and really try to push to win that jackal illegally, which will result in Ireland get penalties. That could be a tactic of theirs, I don't know. New Zealand might cut that completely out. We'll just have to see. I think Ireland will win by 8 points on Friday night. What do you think?
I think Ireland will win, albeit by 5 points. I think they'll be looking for revenge from the World Cup, and I'm minded to say that 2 years ago they bet New Zealand at the Aviva. I'd be surprised if they didn't do the same again.
Yeah, they've had good success as of late against likes of the All Blacks, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do it, being honest. I don't think they'll be more nervous facing Box or any a team like basically Springboks or France even than facing All Blacks just now. So yeah, that's what I've went with. On the Saturday, I mean, we've got 3 games. We'll start off with probably the biggest kind of game, in my opinion, would be England v Australia. What do you think? Based off, I think England will be hurting and they'll be wanting to put down a statement. It'll be against Australia, not the All Blacks. How do you think it'll go?
Yeah, England by 8.
8?
Yeah, Australia will start slow, but slowly come out, I think. England are hurting from the weekend. I'll be very surprised if England lose this game.
I'm the same, but I've went with 18. England by 18.
Wow.
But I don't know what it is when England play Australia, but they just seem to dominate them.
Yeah, that's fair enough, but remember, Zav, we've been on about the style of play that Borthwick has as well. They're not going to set the world alight.
Yeah, but Australia's just not been at the races at all. I'm sorry, but Australia's defence, no. Well, I'll soon be proven right, but until then, I'd like to have your bleeding little moment. But we'll move on. On the Saturday, we also have Italy vs Argentina. I think we both agreed there. Off camera, Argentina probably will win it based off they do probably have the better squad in individual players in certain positions. But it's very close. Also, Argentina have just came off a successful rugby championship for them, so they'll be bouncing from that. And also, they've had that time to kind of play with each other in the camp, and they probably have still kind of kept some sort of international camp going over October leading to this alternation series. So they face Italy, and I don't know how many points you think Argentina will win by, but I've went with 12. I think I'd possibly fair, maybe a bit too ambitious, but I don't think it'll be a thumping. So I went with 12.
I went with 5 because I don't know what Italy are going to do because it's at home, which will suit them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think Argentina will win, but by how tight a margin, I don't know.
Yeah.
You'd be minded to say that Argentina would just have a bit more in them than Italy. but I could be wrong.
Could be. France vs Japan, which is also Saturday. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but it is in Paris.
It's definitely in France. It's not in Japan.
I'll tell you now, because I've got the bloody fixtures and results up in Rugby Pass.
So that I don't have to edit this bit out, I'm going to immediately go and say France by 15. Eddie Jones is... Yeah, I'm...
He's Eddie Jones, is he?
It's just, that's it. That's all I need to say. It's just Eddie Jones. So yeah, I've went with France by 15 and... Yeah.
I've went with France by 20, and it is at Stade de France. Even more pressure.
Oh, yeah. Well... Let us know in the comments who you think is going to get more of these predictions right, me or Zav. And also tell us your predictions.
To be fair, we've all went with this. Well, up until now, we went with the same. So Sunday games. We'll go with the Fiji Wales game first. Who have you went with there? I think this will be very interesting. Wales actually have their squad out. And it's Monday, and they've got the squad out already.
Alright, I haven't seen that. Well, I was going to go Wales by 3. They're missing a few players, but they're at home, and they narrowly bet Fiji at the World Cup, but that was at the World Cup being a neutral venue.
I've went with Fiji by 10, based off the Welsh squad. It's very inexperienced, and I do think Wales are in a secure position just now. And I think this Fiji team getting a lot of their the guys that play in France, play in England, I think they will be pretty up for it. They won't have any jet lag or ring rust because they've been playing the season so far. All Fijians play relatively similar, let's be honest. And yeah, I just love Fiji, mate. So I've just went Fiji with 10 by 10. Sorry.
Yeah, you've kind of deflated my argument here. Yeah.
Hey, no, I'm not saying you're wrong, but it's very close. Fiji by 10, Wales by 5. Tomato. Box vs Scotland, or Scotland vs Box at Scottish Glass Murrayfield.
My heart says Scotland, my head says Springboks by 5, probably.
I went Box by 13.
Oh, wow. So Scotland will make a 2-point improvement from 2 years ago.
Yeah. And I hope it's the game that makes Townsend get sacked. Probably Come on, you want to say it, do you?
I'm never ever going to go out and wish for my team to lose, but anything other than a one-score finish, and also the manner in which the game goes, that's going to be critical for Townsend, because we should be beating Portugal and we should be beating Australia, and if they don't beat South Africa, or even if they don't put in a good fight against South Africa, it's like, where do you go from here? Like, what's the point, kind of thing.
Where's the progress? What progress have you made? That's what I think.
Yeah, and it's not like Townsend hasn't had enough time. Yeah.
That's what I think. But at the end of the day, it's the players that have to play in the park, and we'll see how the players play as well. Maybe we can come back and say the game, the strategies and the way they tried to play wasn't good enough, and that would be on the coaching staff in Townsend conducting that. But maybe some players might just have an absolute stinker. I hope not. You're right though. I do want Scotland to win, but low key, I just want it to be over. I just want a new kind of start and get that kind of bounce again, and get Scotland up and going, because they're 3 years out from a World Cup. It'll be Townsend's third World Cup, and he hasn't made it past the groups once.
And he's also never beaten Ireland, and never beaten Springboks, and never beaten the All Blacks.
Exactly. So
we should do a swap, because everybody wants to see Ireland against the Springboks after what happened in the summer. We should have swapped with them for the All Blacks.
Yeah, I would actually mind that, to be fair. I'd actually be up for that game unless nervous. That would be some game, Ireland vs Box, next time they play. Oh, imagine them in that World Cup final. I mean, it would never happen because Ireland can't get past the quarterfinals.
Oh, Zav!
I only state facts in this channel. Ireland have never been grouped, but they've never made it past the quarterfinals. That's mad, is it? That is shocking. That really is shocking.
So yeah, last week we had Zav having a rant about Gregor Townsend. This week, I'm sorry to any Irish viewers here. Zav's, yeah, give him shit in the comments. He deserves it.
Never. I'm just making for good content. Right. I think that's all we've got for today. We're actually on the 51-minute mark. That's absolutely incredible. Waffled on long enough. Thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed it. Enjoyed the review of the Scotland game. Let us know what you think, or what your opinion should be, should I say. Any players you'd like to see in, any players you'd like to see out. The England game, was it fair that England lost? I mean, of course it's fair because it's England. Do you think All Blacks deserve to win? What do you think the score will be this week? And like always have some guy in the comments or woman in the comments correcting us on any mistakes or slight mistakes we make. So be sure to do that as well. Engage with us. Also, let's see if we can make my TikTok go to 20k views. I would love that. Absolutely love that. I think I'm at 15.3 just now. When I last checked a few hours ago. So I'd love you to go over there on the Think Rugby TikTok page and boost that and make us go more viral. We're gaining more followers and subscribers as we go along. Once we hit 1,000, the TikTok rules are we'll be able to do live videos, which means you can watch us live stream, which will be absolutely fantastic. Live stream, just rugby chat, rugby waffle, but also just chat also like live stream games as well. So it's up to you guys. Leave us a follow on every single platform. Okay then. You happy?
Yeah, delighted. Check out the links in the description, folks.
Well, let's see how we get on this weekend against South Africa. Thank you very much, guys. I'll hear from you in a bit.